When I think back on it, I really, really wish I would listen.
I just want you to start from the beginning.
She would ask me how did I feel about her getting married, and I told her that I didn't like it.
This is the man you're going to marry, and you're not going to tell him that your lover is going to blow his brains out?
He was like, I told you if I couldn't have you, nobody could. I was scared, and I was like, I don't want to go to jail.
She told me she loved me. She said, do you know what we do with that money? She was like, well, you could get a car.
And he told me that if I told anybody, that he'd come back and he'd kill my whole family.
She was like, so when are we going to do this? She said, all I got to do is come to give him some sex and come.
He was very, very good at manipulation. I think he just wanted the control.
He assassinated your husband, okay? Let's call it what it is. And you knew it was going to happen, and you did nothing to stop it.
He was a good guy. He didn't deserve what happened to him at all.
New Year's Day, 1993. Dispatchers in Mansfield, Ohio, receive a worried call about a missing 18-year-old.
There was a missing persons report filed by Hope Lothery, the mother of Jason Lothery. Jason at the time was home on leave from the U.S. Army. He'd gone to basic training in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and he was home on leave from basic training, waiting his next duty station at Fort Carson, Colorado. She said that Jason had gone out the night before, New Year's Eve, about 11:30, in her car, which was a 1993 blue Chevy Cavalier, and was going out to visit some relatives, and that he never returned.
He was supposed to be home that night to celebrate with his mother because Jason Lothery had just gotten married on December 30th, and he was about to set off for Colorado with his new bride in just a few days.
His mom got concerned, and she had called his new bride, Amanda.
Amanda had said that her and Jason had been out the night before. Jason had driven her home, and he had left.
Apparently, Amanda had agreed to spend the night with her mother, New Year's Eve, despite the fact they were newlyweds.
He was all right with it, her husband, because he wanted to spend time with his mother before he took off back in the Army.
Amanda had no idea where he had gone and hadn't seen him since he had dropped her off.
I'm not sure if Jason's mom came to my house or if she called. I can't really recall it. But I was freaking out, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, I didn't know what to do, So the cops came and stuff, and they started questioning me, and it was like I was just living in a nightmare. And I was like, this ain't real. Like, that's all I kept saying to myself. I was like, it's not real. Like, it's going to be okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Jason's going to come home, and it's going to be fine.
We obviously checked the hospital. Hope had called all family and friends looking for Jason. No one had a clue where he was at. But at 11:35 in the morning, a private citizen called in who had found the vehicle just inadvertently.
The vehicle was over an embankment down by the railroad tracks in the north end of town, in a secluded area.
Which was about a mile and a half from the Lothery home. Mansfield police responded, and it was Hope Lothery's missing vehicle that Jason was last seen in.
But Jason's not at the scene, no one's at the scene. In the car, we found Jason's jacket, and it had a lot of blood on the jacket and in the car.
There was a large amount of blood on the driver's side headrest. There was copious amounts of blood there, and with Jason being missing, this didn't look good for him.
Born in 1974, Jason Lothery was the epitome of all-American.
We were in classes together. He was National Honor Society. He was a good kid. He was a very polite, friendly person.
In high school, he had good grades. He was Honor Society. He's, all the good things.
He liked to play basketball. He'd be on the basketball court and mixing it up at lunch during open gym.
16-year-old Amanda Branham was a grade below Jason at the same high school.
I knew Jason for years. He lived up the street from me. His cousin was my best friend. We went to school together.
Amanda is very friendly. She doesn't know a stranger. She'll include anybody in her group.
At first, it was just like we were all just like friends, But then me and Jason, we just clicked one day. He was sweet, caring. People loved him. My parents loved him.
Jason was a boy that everybody's parents wanted their daughters to date. The perfect guy.
We would just ride around and just talk and listen to music. And if I wasn't at his house, he was at my house. It was just, we were in our own world.
Less than a year after they fell in love, in the spring of 1992, Jason graduated and enlisted in the Army.
Before Jason went to boot camp, he asked me to marry him. Of course, I said yes, but I'm 17 years old at the time, so we didn't plan to get married until after I graduated school. So we had made our marriage date for June of 93. We thought that he was going to be able to stay in Ohio, but the military, they were saying that they were going to station him in Colorado. So he had asked me, he was like, I want you to go with me. I was ready to just get out of Mansfield and start my life, so we moved our wedding date up to December. And I dropped out of school. We had made a whole plan that when we got to Colorado, I was going to get my GED. I was going to go to cosmetology school because I wanted to do hair. So, we had a whole plan.
On December 30th, 1992, Amanda and Jason were married in a small ceremony in Mansfield.
His parents came, my parents came, my sister, a few of the friends. We were very happy, but that changed when this happened.
Now, only 2 days after his wedding, the car Jason had been driving has been found covered in blood.
The car was towed to the Mansfield Police Department so the crime lab could process it for evidence.
Because of the amount of blood, we believed that we were dealing with a homicide at that point.
So since Amanda, his wife of one day, was the last person allegedly that had been with him or seen him, we thought she was a key to the investigation, and we interviewed her right away.
When Amanda goes down to the police station, she's very upset. She's worried about where Jason could be.
They said that they had found the car. My mind was all over the place.
That's when Amanda reveals that Jason had gotten involved with some local drug dealers named Capri Smith and Anthony Parents.
She said they were going to harm Jason, and she didn't know the extent of the harm that they wanted to do to him. We were familiar with Capri Smith from other police dealings.
She said Anthony Parents had some long-standing grudge against Jason and had threatened to kill him. She said that the night of the 26th, they were all at the Moto Mart and that Anthony wanted to fight Jason and that Jason wouldn't go out and fight. We had no reason to doubt Amanda, but we wanted to clear her first of any knowledge. So we asked her if she'd take a polygraph, and she agreed. Her answers were that she had no knowledge, direct involvement in Jason's disappearance.
She passed the polygraph with flying colors.
After the polygraph, I went back on station, and within an hour, I got a call from a citizen that said that Amanda Lothry and her sister had come to their house screaming and that they had found Jason's body in a ravine. I thought, well, she just passed this polygraph, supposedly, and drives there directly to where the body's at, and yet claims no knowledge. So what's the chances of that?
Coming up, as a homicide investigation ignites, another murder leads to more questions.
That was strange that we would have these two homicides close together. We don't believe in coincidences.
And the search for justice will lead to a shocking revelation.
When we found this out, that this was kind of a love triangle thing going on there, it gave us a motive.
Less than an hour after questioning 17-year-old Amanda Lothry in connection with her husband Jason's disappearance, detectives have just received a call that Amanda has made a terrible discovery.
She had indicated her and her sister had gone out looking for Jason and came upon his body in this particular wooded area.
My sister got out of the car and she just started looking. And then she seen him. I remember just getting this sinking feeling in my stomach, and I just started crying.
Her and the sister then went on foot to a random house, nobody they knew, and called the police from there.
I went to the scene, and we found that Jason was thrown over this bank into a ravine. He had obvious wounds to the back of his head, which appeared to me to be gunshot wounds, and we could see abrasions on Jason's body that would indicate that he had been dragged.
But there were no bullet casings, anything of that nature found at the scene.
The vehicle is located about 2.5 miles due north of where the body was found. The large amount of blood in the vehicle suggested that he was murdered in the vehicle, but we didn't know whether that happened where the vehicle was located or at the scene where he was recovered.
Where Jason's body is ultimately discovered, that area was an odd location for Amanda to be looking in because it isn't in close proximity to where they lived or where he would have gone.
And so we talked to Amanda at the scene where Jason was found.
So Amanda said this spot is where drug dealers have been known to frequent.
She said she went there because that's where, Anthony and Capri did their dirty work, and that's how she happened to be there. So we didn't take another formal statement at that time. We just talked to her.
Can't say that they was really consoling, but I think that they were just doing their job.
The coroner was called to the scene, and the coroner dictated the body be transferred to the Mansfield General Hospital morgue for autopsy.
I got word that Jason had passed the same night that they found him. I was quite shocked. Couldn't believe that someone as good as him had life cut short.
I didn't eat. I couldn't sleep. It was almost like I was walking in a dream. Everything was just surreal.
At this point, we're definitely looking at a homicide. So we're checking alibis, we're checking leads. Amanda had stated that Anthony Parents and Capri Smith frequently ran together, and that Anthony had threatened to kill Jason in the past. So obviously we contacted Anthony Parents and Capri Smith about this. They both were known to law enforcement and had police records.
Caprice and Anthony, when they were questioned, they had no knowledge of what we were talking about, and they gave alibis.
We knew that the murder occurred sometime between 11:30, the night before, and when he was found at about 3:55, the next day on January 1st. We checked out both their alibis, and they were solid. They were at parties with numerous people that could vouch for their presence there. They had no involvement in Jason Lothry's murder.
At that point, we had nothing more to go on.
Back at square one, detectives review another homicide case that occurred just 4 days before Jason's murder to determine if there is any possible connection.
Mansfield is not that high of a rate in terms of crime, but suddenly had 2 murders within days of one another.
We'd average about 4 or 5 murders a year, so it was unusual to have that many murders in that time span before Jason's murder. I'd gotten called in the early morning hours of December 27th for an apparent homicide. The man was shot in the left eye. His name was Scott Cox.
Scotty Cox was in the bar with a friend, and they were having a drink.
We talked to the man that was with Scott Cox. He said that they were leaving the bar. These two individuals were coming eastbound on 4th Street.
Scotty Cox had bumped into these two guys. He described them as one tall and one short. Other than that, he couldn't tell us white, black, anything else about them.
Words were exchanged between them, and that the taller male pulled out a gun, a pistol, and shot Scott Cox in the face. And they ran away from him.
It was just, you just feel numb, I guess, just shock. Why Scotty? Scotty didn't have any enemies.
We all broke down as a family, couldn't believe it happened. He wasn't a troublemaker, so we didn't know why it happened.
Both Jason and Scott were assassinated by bullets to the head, but detectives still aren't sure if they're connected.
There's always this fear that if you find these sort of connected murders, that more violence or more murders may result. Later on, people start coming forward and providing information, and the connection then is developed.
On January 1st, 1993, Mansfield detectives are investigating the murder of 18-year-old Jason Lothry and trying to determine if it's connected to another recent homicide.
Scott Cox was murdered on December 27th, 1992, in Mansfield, just days before Jason Lothry was murdered.
At the time, we were kind of still in the dark. We just had heard that it was another tragedy yet in Mansfield, and they were still trying to put things together.
Jason's body was taken to the Mansfield General Morgue at the direction of the coroner for an autopsy, which he performed the next morning. He determined that manner of death was homicide, and cause of death was 3 gunshot wounds to the head. Some bullet fragments were recovered from Jason's head, were turned over for comparison.
It was a homicide by gunshot, a small caliber gun, and it turned out to be a .22 caliber.
The weapon that was determined to kill Scott Cox was a .38 caliber Smith & Wesson. And so we had nothing at that point to connect the two deaths.
Despite the different murder weapons, detectives continue to investigate the homicides side by side.
We thought that was strange that we would have these 2 homicides close together. We don't believe in coincidences.
We had 6 to 8 detectives working on this at the time. After the word got out on Jason's murder, after it was in the papers and everything, we started getting phone calls from the different high schools that students thought they might have some knowledge about this murder. We found out from these students that all hung around together that this man, Raji Render, didn't like Jason.
Raji Render wanted to fight, have it out with Jason so they could settle their differences.
Render was also known to hang around with a guy by the name of Aaron Bryant, and so his name was also offered up to police.
So we had to check him out. Raji TC Render had been involved in the system before on that weapons charge. TC's a nickname he gave himself, totally cool or too cool. Aaron Bryant was living down the street from him. They were supposedly best friends, and if you use the geography of it, Render and Bryant both live close to where Scott Cox was murdered.
Myself and Detective Jim Gadd went out to pick them up to talk.
The thing that stood out about Aaron was on the Scott Cox murder, witnesses said one was a really short male, about 5'4", and Aaron Bryant was about 5'4".
And TC was taller, so in the back of my mind, I'm saying these 2 guys fit the description we had from the Cox homicide.
At the station, detectives asked TC and Aaron about the murders of Jason Lothry and Scott Cox.
They denied any involvement in it. T.C. Render and Aaron Bryant had alibis that on late night December 26th, early morning December 27th, there was a kind of a party going on in the basement. And again, on New Year's Eve, they were there all night for a party until 5 in the morning. At the time, Aaron Bryant was living with his girlfriend, Julie Crosby, and her father was Clarence Crosby. I contacted Clarence Crosby, the male head of household there, and confided into him what was going on, that there had been 2 murders. We thought Aaron might be involved.
On January 4th, Clarence and his daughter Julie agree to come to the station, where they're separated for questioning.
I asked him, had he heard anything? Had he seen anything? He was surprised to hear that Aaron could be involved, and that he said, he didn't know anything about it, hadn't heard anything, but he'd let us know. So we next talked to Julie Crosby, Aaron's girlfriend. She was 18, had a young baby, and questioned her.
Julie Crosby was given indications to police that she was nervous, so they had thought that she knew something.
Julie at first denied any knowledge.
Then Detective Wendling came in and pretty much slammed his fist on the table and was like, "You have got to tell us what is going on."
It was explained to her what an accessory to murder could mean, what kind of charge that could mean, what kind of effect that could have on her life, with her young child and everything. And she then broke down. She said Aaron confessed to her that T.C. Render and Aaron Bryant, they had inadvertently killed Scott Cox.
It was like the floodgates being opened.
Four days into the investigation of the New Year's Eve murder of Jason Lothry, Mansfield detectives have received information that Raji T.C. Render and Aaron Bryant were involved in another recent murder, that of Scott Cox.
Once we interviewed Julie Crosby, it kind of cracked the case open.
While at the house one night, Julie had overheard a discussion between T.C. Render and Clarence Crosby, her father, about wanting to borrow a weapon. T.C. was looking for a gun.
T.C. had been supplied that .38 caliber Smith & Wesson by Clarence Crosby, along with ammunition.
The discussion then entered into the fact that T.C. intended to use this gun to ambush Jason Lothry.
According to Julie, the day after T.C. borrowed the gun, he and Aaron returned to the house in a panic.
December 27th, T.C. and Aaron ran back to her house and gave Clarence Crosby the weapon back.
They were kind of on edge. They were riled up.
They said Scotty Cox ran into Aaron on the street, bumped into him. Words were exchanged.
They had an argument with Scott, and T.C. raised the gun in front of Scott. Scott supposedly batted it away. The gun was raised again, and he was shot. Scott Cox just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Julie says her father then supplied T.C. with a new gun, this time a .22.
Clarence had prior knowledge. His plan was to kill Jason and still supplied the ammunition as well as the weapons. We didn't know why he did that. I mean, the rest of these were 17, 18, 19-year-olds, and Clarence was an adult. December 31st, Julie told us that T.C. Render came back and gave Clarence Crosby the .22 revolver back. They said it was used to kill Jason Lothry.
So the two murders were actually connected.
When detectives asked Julie why T.C. wanted to kill Jason Lothry, she says the entire plot revolved around Jason's wife.
Apparently, T.C. and Amanda had been an item.
They found out Amanda and T.C. had been on and off for some time, but this information was withheld from police by Amanda.
Julie advised that Amanda and TC had remained in that relationship even though she had started a relationship with Jason and committed to marrying him. And the idea was that TC wanted him dead because he wanted to be with Amanda. Julie also indicated that Amanda was well aware of what was going to transpire.
Now, Amanda had passed a polygraph. I will admit the polygraph's not a panacea. People can pass polygraphs and still be 100% guilty.
When we found this out, that this was kind of a love triangle thing going on here, it gave us a motive.
Armed with his daughter's statement, detectives circle back to Clarence and confront him with the allegations.
He basically confirmed what Julie had told us, that he had supplied both weapons, the .22 revolver that was used to kill Jason Lothry and the .38 revolver for Scott Cox.
Following Clarence's interview, detectives head to his home to collect evidence.
From there, we recovered the .38 caliber revolver.
The bullet casings were buried in the backyard. Clarence showed us approximately where they were, and we dug them up.
We later recovered the .22 H&R revolver that was used in Jason Lothry's murder. We felt we had probable cause to make arrests on Amanda, TC, and Aaron.
On January 4th, investigators arrest T.C. Render.
We found TC first. We were searching a residence that we had information he was at. We put him on the ground, handcuffed him.
Detectives arrest Aaron Bryant at a friend's house the same day, before setting their sights on Amanda Lothry.
I was at Jason's wake. They came in and asked me to come outside. And then when they got me outside, they said that I was under arrest for the murder of Jason. It was almost like I had all these voices in my mind, like screaming. And I'm like, you're arresting me? I didn't even do it.
Amanda was taken to the Detective Bureau for a statement.
Are you in love with TC?
No.
Have you ever been in love with him?
No.
It's so hard for me to remember like everything back then. I was scared, and I was like, I don't want to go to jail. I just know that during their investigation, I misled them, and I lied.
4 days into the investigation, Amanda Lothry has been taken into custody in connection to the murder of her young husband, Jason. According to an eyewitness, Amanda had prior knowledge that her alleged lover, Raji T.C. Render, wanted to murder Jason in order to be with her.
Would you explain your relationship to me with TC, what it has been all along?
We saw each other on and off, but when Jason left, it was just a friendship.
I met TC when I'd say maybe I was like 14, I think. He was like 17. And I was like, oh, he's kind of cute.
TC had been, a popular guy. He had a reputation for being like a ladies' man.
My parents didn't like him. I remember my mom saying that when she looked in his eyes, it was like looking in the eyes of the devil. He cheated on me a lot. So eventually I got to a point to where I just started like seeing other guys and, basically doing me.
When Amanda and TC broke up, she started talking to Jason. Her parents were thrilled. You could tell they really liked Jason a lot.
We knew that after Jason went off to join the Army, TC moved right back into his relationship with Amanda.
She admitted that they were still seeing each other.
Would you now tell me what you know about that incident? I just want you to start from the beginning.
When TC found out that me and Jason had got engaged, he had made a comment to somebody. He was like, I'll shoot up that whole wedding if she thinks she's getting married.
He was going to shoot him. Did you tell Jason that?
I made hints towards Jason.
Hints? This is the man you're going to marry the following Wednesday? You're wearing his wedding band right now, and you're not going to tell him that your lover is going to blow his brains out?
When TC had made that comment and got back to me, I was like, well, I don't believe that. TC ain't gonna, you know what I mean? So I took it with a grain of salt. Maybe that was my mistake. I didn't want to believe it. I mean, I'm 17 years old, you know? So the 31st, I worked at Wendy's. I was closing that night. Jason come pick me up. But when I came out of Wendy's, TC and Jason was out in the parking lot talking. And so I walked up and I was like, what's going on? And Jason was like, TC wants us to go out, you know, for a while tonight or whatever. I was like, well, take me home so I could change first. So we dropped him off at home and then went to my house and I changed clothes and then we left. And then we went and picked up TC.
We went riding around and we went to the Galaxy Goose to get some stuff to drink or whatever that TC bought.
Jason was like lightweight. So like he started swerving on the road a little bit. And I was like, Jason, pull over the car.
So Jason pulled back there and he backed the car up and turned off the lights. So I got out of the car with him because I went to the bathroom, like back in the woods and stuff. And next thing I know, I started hearing these gunshots and stuff. So I run up there and I see TC dragging Jason out of the car. And I'm asking TC, what's going on?
And then like I seen Jason, I just realized like he was dead. TC just dumped him over to the side. I'm sorry.
Amanda Lothry told police that she was fearful of Render and just went along with whatever he wanted.
I just thought she really had kind of a flat affect for everything. It wasn't a show of emotion that, you know, she was sorry for all this.
TC was like, I told you if I couldn't have you, nobody could. Eventually, I finally got him to let me go home. And he told me that if I told anybody, they'd come back and he'd kill my whole family. He was very, very good at, I guess you could say, manipulation. I don't even really think that he wanted to be back with me. I think he just wanted to control.
He assassinated your husband, okay? Let's call it what it is. And you knew it was going to happen, and you did nothing to stop it.
My mom said that I always give benefit of the doubt to people, you know? I guess you'd call it naive or whatever back then. When I think back on it, I really, really wish I would have listened.
The fact that she sent her little sister, who was uninvolved in the whole thing, her over to find the body with her, I just thought that was awful.
Detectives finished their interview with Amanda and detain her in jail. The same day, they interviewed TC Render.
What we're going to discuss here are two homicides. The first is the William S. Cox homicide.
We find out December 26th, TC Render and Aaron Bryant had gone to the Moto Mart and tried to get Jason to come out and fight. And Jason wouldn't come out, and so they were going home when Scott Cox walked out of the bar.
Well, there was a fight. And he swung it. He shot.
So what you're saying is you're the one that shot Mr. Cox.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us anything about Jason's death?
Well, I didn't shoot Jason.
You're saying that Andy's the one that shot Jason?
Did you and Amanda have some type of conversation about her fiance?
Yeah. She would ask me how did I feel about her getting married, and I told her that I didn't like it, especially if she told me she loved me and all this. She said, she asked me one time, did I know how much Jason was worth if she married him? And if he died or got killed or something. I told her no. She said, ranging around $200,000 or something like that. And And she said, "Do you know what we could do with that money?" She was like, "Well, you could be at the car."
So he said part of the motive for the shooting of Jason Lothry was that once she had married him, that she would be in line for Army insurance.
She was like, "So when are we going to do this?" She said, "I can set him up anytime." She said, "All I got to do is tell him I want some sex and he'll come."
TC admits to acquiring the gun, but he maintains he never pulled the trigger. Instead, he says that when Amanda and Jason picked him up on New Year's Eve, Amanda had put her plan into action.
Amanda, she was like, she's turn up the music, so turn up the music. And then she had hit him once. And at first he was just sitting there. "What are you doing?" She had shot him once. Where at? I don't know. It was somewhere in the head. He was just sitting up there like this. But it seemed like he was swaying back and forth. Then she shot him again.
I don't know if she hatched out the plan or he did, but I thought that they were both totally involved in it.
Ohio authorities have arrested Amanda Lothry and her alleged lover, Raji T.C. Render, for the murder of Amanda's husband, Jason Lothry. T.C., alongside his friend, Aaron Bryant, also stand accused of shooting a second man, Scott Cox, a few days before Jason's death.
T.C. Render was charged with conspirative murder of Jason Lothry and conspiracy to commit murder for the murder of Scott Cox. Amanda was charged with conspiracy. Conspiracy in Ohio is a felony of the first degree. Aaron Bryant was originally charged with participating in the aggravated murder of Scott Cox. He was also charged with conspiracy to commit murder, which related to the murder of Mr. Lothry.
Clarence Crosby, the man who provided the murder weapons, is also charged.
Clarence was charged with aiding and abetting in the murder of Jason Lothry and 4 counts of tampering with evidence.
Aaron Bryant ended up reaching a plea agreement, so he was able to testify and did testify in the trial against Crosby, Amanda, and TC.
So since the allegations is this was a conspiracy, the court went forward with the idea that they would all 3 be tried together.
In May of 1993, opening arguments get underway.
Amanda was blaming TC and saying that he was manipulating her. She was fearful of him. She had no choice.
On the other side, you had TC, who claimed that Amanda was being manipulative.
Did I lie to the police? Yes, I did. I'll take that all day long. But to say that I sat down and maliciously plotted to kill somebody, no. No.
In response, the state calls multiple witnesses to prove the lovers conspired together.
You had Julie Crosby saying that Amanda would be on the phone with TC, and TC would be telling her, you got to get Jason out of the house. And Julie heard some of these conversations.
The general argument of the state was that Amanda had wanted to be with TC Render. They wanted the $200,000 insurance policy so that they could have a life together. And they were all fueled by greed and lust.
But at trial, Amanda claimed that she didn't know anything about it.
Literally, we had just got married. We never talked about no money or anything like that or no insurance policies. That's what they was building my case around. But I was never his beneficiary.
After 9 hours of deliberation, the jury came back with guilty verdicts on all counts. Mr. Render had very little reaction, neither did Mr. Crosby.
I felt like I was gonna die. I was like, there's no way. My life's gone because nobody wanted to listen to me.
They were all sentenced. Later, they had filed appeals that they hadn't been allowed a separate trial.
The decision to try them all together was grounds for appeal.
After the convictions were reversed, T.C. Render decided to go to trial again. He was again convicted. His sentence ultimately becomes 36 years to life for the aggravated murder of Jason Lothry and for the murder of Scott Cox.
And there were some plea deals among the others.
I agreed to the plea deal because my attorney at the time was saying, if you go through trial, you're looking at life.
Her sentence is 10 to 28 years in prison for her participation. Amanda served her entire 28 years.
I got out in January of 2021. When I first got out, I was very overwhelmed. I still felt like I had this wall up a little bit. I've tried to move forward with my life. This is something that, haunts me at times. Jason is a good guy. He didn't deserve what happened to him at all.
You should have had the chance to, be married for real and have children and experience life, and all that was cut short.
Jason Lothry had a wonderful life ahead of him. He had a lot to look forward to, and his loss was huge.
That woman will always be in my heart. Because she'll always be in my heart, everything about her will always be stuck with me. I would have done it again. I might have done it differently, but I would have done it again.
The Greene County Sheriff has new information about a mother found murdered at her home and her missing daughter.
It was a crime that captivated the country.
Gypsy Blanchard and her boyfriend, Nicholas Gojon, are now jailed in Wisconsin on first-degree murder.
This case took many strange twists. Everything that we seemed to uncover turned out to be a lie.
This wasn't just a murder. This was a con.
She was under the thumb of her mother. She was a victim of hideous Munchausen by proxy abuse.
Authorities say Gypsy can walk without a wheelchair, and they discovered several birth dates that make her between 19 and 23 years old.
Gypsy didn't know that she wasn't actually sick. It wasn't until after she was arrested that she learned that she was actually healthy. This case is about manipulation. It's about deceit. It's also a case about love.
The stars aligned somehow that these two individuals found each other.
It wasn't just boyfriend, girlfriend. It wasn't just, I'm attracted to you, I like talking to you. It was a very deep, intimate relationship.
Gypsy really pulled at Nicholas's heartstrings. She wanted his sympathy. She wanted him to know just how much she was suffering and how much she needed him to save her.
Okay, I'll admit it. I did actually stab her mom. I will admit it.
Did Gypsy know that you were going to kill her mother?
Honestly, she asked me to.
Since the moment she was arrested, Gypsy Blanchard has seized the media spotlight.
Did you help Nicholas kill your mom?
No, sir.
Alarm bells start going off at that point. Something's not right.
Now, 4 years after this infamous case mesmerized the nation, the man at the center of its deadly romance tells his side of the story.
Due to all the publicity Gypsy's getting, and she's getting me that publicity too, I feel like I have a responsibility. I want to basically let everyone know that I'm not just this cold killer. Somehow I just knew deep within my heart, some way me and her will end up being together in the end. There's no other option, we gotta take it.
Hi, honey. I'm doing it. He's eating a brownie. But later he will be eating me.
That that was, man, probably the best days of my life. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it. I enjoyed every second of it. From the very beginning, I just knew her soulmates. Those 5 days where I was actually with her, physically with her, those 5 days were the most intense and magical and awe-inspiring days I've ever had. I was gonna get a job and start looking for an apartment. After a little ways down the road, I'd probably end up marrying her and end up having children with her. That's something I've never had with someone else. I never ever had it. And to this day, she's the only one that I've ever had that with.
But Nicholas and Gypsy's time together would soon come to an end due to events already set in motion in the town of Springfield, Missouri.
On June 14th of 2015, the Greene County Sheriff's Office get a call from some concerned neighbors, friends of Claudine and Gypsy Blanchard.
Dee Dee and Gypsy were actually very well known in Springfield because of this tragic backstory of the very sick child that this single mother is taking care of.
They had basically been on their own. Dee Dee didn't have a real good relationship with Gypsy's father.
They came up from New Orleans area after Hurricane Katrina. They were displaced with no home.
And then Habitat for Humanity stepped forward and they got a home from Habitat for Humanity. So they became kind of well known around the community.
We have an awesome bathtub. It's a jacuzzi tub meant for my muscles. And we have a wonderful ramp so I can get up and down by myself.
Gypsy was in a wheelchair. She had all kinds of physical ailments.
We've been told that she was 15 with the mentality of a third or fourth grader because she has genetic disorders and she has cancer and she has muscular dystrophy and she has, all of these other issues.
There was genuine love from this community for Gypsy and Dee Dee. They really cared for them. They wanted the best for them. They wanted to help them. And they did in many different ways, not just Habitat for Humanity, but helping them with food and money, donations. The community really came together behind them to make sure they were okay and well taken care of here.
I think it was a blessing in disguise. It took something like a hurricane to make us have a happy ending.
But on June 14th, 2015, Gypsy and Dee Dee's friend, Kim Blanchard, notices a disturbing post on their shared Facebook profile.
Sunday afternoon, I'm scrolling through Facebook, not thinking about nothing, so to speak. I saw the initial Facebook post from their joint Facebook.
The post that had been left on Dee Dee and Gypsy's shared Facebook page said, "That bitch is dead."
Between the two of them, never a heavy word, never a curse word, heaven forbid. To see an expletive on theirs was, oh my goodness. Well, okay, I'm gonna give him a quick call. Nobody answers the phone. Nobody answers the house phone. Nobody answers the cell phone. And scroll down just a little further, and there's the second one.
The post was, "I slashed that fat pig and raped her sweet, innocent daughter."
And that's when I decided we're going to go to the house. Upon arriving, noticed that the vehicle was still in the driveway and that I couldn't see any movement or any lights on in the house. Walked around and knocked on doors and windows and nobody answered.
And that was the be-all and end-all right there. And it was, call the cops, we need a wellness check. There is something wrong.
When the first deputies got there, At that point, they didn't have enough information to just storm into the house. So what they did was basically try to look through the windows, try to look around, and knock on the door, announce themselves, and they ended up not getting a response.
And that's when we noticed that the window over the kitchen was unlocked. So I crawled in through the window and got inside. The only things I truly noticed immediately was it was totally dark, there was no lights on, and it was extremely cold in the house. As in, like, the air conditioning had been running nonstop. I noticed that 2 of Gypsy's wheelchairs were in the living room. I got to the bathroom, it was open, and her 3rd wheelchair was there. Okay, this is odd because I know she's got 3 and they're all here. Gypsy's bedroom was the last door on the left. I opened it, everything looked fine. Dee Dee's room was the last one on the right. I got to the doorway and I hit the light switch and the light did not come on. So I clicked it a couple times and it still didn't work. I did not feel the need to go in the room. So I didn't. I went back out, I opened up the front door, I told the sheriff there's nobody here.
They did ultimately obtain a search warrant to look inside that house.
When the officers enter Dee Dee's room, they don't notice anything out of the ordinary at first. But when they get closer to the bed, they notice the top sheet is covered in blood.
When they pulled back the sheet, that's when they discovered Dee Dee's body.
Once we found Dee Dee deceased, our priority at that point was to find Gypsy and make sure that she was safe.
There was fear at that point that Gypsy had actually been kidnapped and was possibly still alive, being held somewhere.
Coming up, as police race to find Gypsy, dark secrets come to light.
That couldn't be true. There was no universe in which that could be true.
And investigators get their first peek inside a love affair worth killing for.
She said, as long as you and me are together, that's all that matters to me.
The Greene County Sheriff has new information about a mother found murdered at her home and her missing daughter. Let's go live now to that neighborhood.
On June 14th, 2015, Claudine Dee Dee Blanchard is discovered murdered inside her Springfield, Missouri home, the victim of a horrific attack.
This was a gruesome, bloody scene that they stumbled onto in that house.
This crime had a sense of urgency because we were working this as an abduction, and we didn't know if we were on a time clock to find Gypsy alive. With Dee Dee, the medical examiner helped us determine the cause of death. It was determined that there were 17 stab wounds.
They also were able to tell that she had a very deep wound to the back of her neck. She was essentially nearly decapitated.
Claudinia was stationary during the incident, so any blood that would have been found throughout the house wouldn't have believed to have been hers unless it was potentially dropped from the weapon itself or from whoever had committed the crime.
There were some specks of blood that were on the bathroom door and a roll of paper towels, as well as they did a swab of the sink, and they found blood there.
While evidence is sent to the crime lab, law enforcement officials focus on finding Dee Dee's missing and disabled daughter, Gypsy.
We had the sheriff's posse out on horseback looking for Gypsy. We had volunteers coming from everywhere to start basically combing the area and looking to see if maybe she wasn't far from the house.
As far as I knew, Gypsy was a scared 15-year-old girl who couldn't walk that is now missing. So, of course, we were just terrified that somebody had come in, killed her mother, stolen whatever they wanted to and took her with them.
While all that is happening, we were working with Facebook.
It was really believed at that time that the person who made that Facebook post had a direct involvement to her murder. Our computer forensics expert was able to get the IP address, which basically would be the location where the internet is being accessed. And it was discovered at that time that it was a residence in Waukesha, Wisconsin.
We immediately contacted the sheriff's office up there.
Detectives are able to identify the occupants of the home where the IP address originated. They also identify the owner of the computer.
The internet provider was associated with Nicholas Godejohn.
The sheriff's office did put together a tactical plan because they had no idea what they were getting into.
There were more than 24 SWAT team members from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Office. They were told that there could be a murder suspect in that home. They were told that there could be a second victim or someone taken from a murder scene who might be in harm's way.
The SWAT team asked Nicholas Godejohn to exit the home. Someone exits the home, but it's not Nicholas.
And Gypsy walked out of the house.
Everyone is shocked to see Gypsy, this girl who can't walk without a wheelchair, who's so sick. She's walking without assistance, and she's surrendering to the police.
And that's when I knew there's something more to this story.
A huge break in this homicide investigation. Gypsy Rose Blanchard has been found safe. She is okay. And that also a person of interest is in custody.
This is an ongoing investigation. The prosecutor has filed charges this morning for first-degree murder on 2 suspects.
For the officer to say that he and she are persons of interest, I literally threw up in a wastebasket because it couldn't be true.
You know, we're still investigating the extent of the relationship, but it has been referred to as boyfriend, girlfriend.
It just was unbelievable. Each sentence that came out of his mouth was more unbelievable than the one before it.
Both Facebook postings that appeared were authored by Gypsy.
I think people found it very hard to wrap their brain around the fact that Gypsy was involved in this in any way. So it was easy, I think, to look at the person that we didn't know, who is Nicholas Godejohn, and wonder, did he make her do this?
Okay, I'll admit it. I did actually stab her. I will admit it.
I know that he loves me and he would do anything for me and to be with me.
Maybe he had talked her into doing something and things had gotten out of hand and mom had gotten killed and then he kidnapped her. Was it really so far outside of the realm of possibility?
As the story progressed, of course, opinions change.
We also know that Gypsy can walk without assistance or a wheelchair.
All right, let's stand up for me.
Well, the videos speak for themselves. She's carrying her own luggage. She's very mobile and able to move around. Things are not always as they appear.
Went from, we have a homicide, Gypsy is missing, to unraveling their whole story and finding out all of this had not been true.
We found out that Gypsy was not 15. We also revealed almost a lifetime of scams by Dee Dee. Basically, her whole makeup was a lie.
We have unearthed the appearance of a long financial fraud scheme along with this tragic event.
One of the strangest aspects of this case, Sheriff Jim Arnott says, the Blanchards were involved in con jobs lasting several years across several states.
People gave money to this family thinking they were helping a little girl who was suffering from leukemia, only to find out that it was all a ruse, that Dee Dee Blanchard had been abusing this child for years.
This wasn't just a murder. This whole city got scammed. We got scammed by Dee Dee. We got scammed by Gypsy because of what Dee Dee was making her do.
The evidence clearly indicates that Gypsy was victimized by her mother. But did she really conspire to murder her? Detectives put that very question to her boyfriend and alleged co-conspirator, Nicholas Godejohn.
Did Gypsy know that you were going to kill her mother?
Honestly, she asked me to. Did you help?
No, sir.
Nicholas kill your mom?
No, sir.
This is a case where deception has been at the root from moment one. How deep do the lies go? Who we thought was initially the victim turns out to be the suspect. How do we know who's telling the truth?
If Nicholas is telling the truth, why had he been so willing to help Gypsy kill her own mother?
Nicholas Godejohn is one of two living people at the center of this unfolding scandal. No one has really heard his side of what went on in their relationship and what led up to the decision for them to commit this awful crime.
What was life like before you met Gypsy?
Wow.
In June 2015, prosecutors in Greene County, Missouri, charged Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Nicholas Godejohn with the murder of Gypsy's mother, Dee Dee Blanchard.
Okay, I'll admit it. I did actually stab her.
When most people heard Nicholas Godejohn admit that he had stabbed Dee Dee Blanchard multiple times, they were ready to say, lock the door to the cell and throw away the key. But I think more people are starting to wonder, what kind of life did Nicholas Godejohn have before he met Gypsy Blanchard that might have led him to carry out the murder?
What was life like for me before I met Gypsy? I actually was basically alone. My parents split up right around the time I was between 3-4 years old. From that time forward, I was different from everyone else. Basically, my mom raised me the entire time, all the way to the age of 15, up in Waukesha, Wisconsin.
It was hard for him to make friends. He was always by himself. Pretty much grew up by himself.
From the very first day when I was in kindergarten all the way to 12th grade, every single one of those days I was in special education.
Nick's autism was first diagnosed in grade school.
The weird thing, though, is that even though I was in special education throughout that entire time, I was considered one of the smartest children in the classrooms that I was in, just because of my high-functioning autism. After high school, I was interested in computers. Originally, I wanted to be a computer repairman. They weren't too happy with how long I was taking to grasp it all. Ever since then, I wasn't able to really pursue any other paths of any type of career. So really, I kept to myself. The reason I kept to myself is because I didn't really have the social skills due to my mental disability.
Yeah, Nick, he was lonely. He loved the internet because he was able to connect with people.
I was basically a recluse. I kept to myself. I guess you could say I could open up more when I was online, for sure.
In October 2012, Nicholas would meet the woman who would become the love of his life.
Nicholas had been on this Christian dating website, free website, and had signed up.
I was raised as a Catholic, so my mom always taught me if you're going to look for any woman, you should be looking for a Christian woman. This way they at least share the same values as I do.
He was going nowhere. He wasn't in school. He wasn't working. His only outlet was who he found online, and who he found was Gypsy.
October 9th, 2012. I'll never forget the date because that woman will always be in my heart. And because she'll always be in my heart, everything about her will always be stuck with me. She first reached out to me. Once she said hi, me being my natural shy or bashful self, I just said hi back.
In their initial encounter, Gypsy tells Nicholas she lives in Missouri with her overprotective mother. She also tells him she has a secret online account she uses to meet new people after her mother goes to bed.
Her mother would not allow her to date or have boyfriends or anything like that. Gypsy lived a very sheltered life.
There was something about her that I found very, very intriguing. I was definitely attracted to her. She told me about her being bound to a wheelchair. I didn't hold it against her. She was amazed that I accepted her, even if she was that way.
It didn't bother my son one bit because, you know, he felt for her because of that. And he wanted to help any way he could.
She made it seem like originally that she just wanted to be friends with me, but 3-4 days into it, I could tell that she was looking for more than that.
I think they felt very similar. As someone who was pretty isolated in their life, they seemed very much alike in that way, and I think that really bonded them together from the get-go.
It's crazy because I felt like she was like a long-lost friend.
Gypsy was aggressive and kind of just trying to bring them closer and closer to each other in a very quick way.
It seemed like it happened so quick. Really, it did. It felt like it happened so quick.
Nicholas, he was vulnerable. He was looking for love. He was looking for affection. Gypsy provided that.
It was 8 days from when we first actually met each other online before we became official. It felt great. It felt very great. I'm thinking, now this person might be the one.
They really began an almost exclusively online relationship.
I was so deeply in love with her already that it was just overwhelming.
It wasn't just boyfriend, girlfriend. It wasn't just, I'm attracted to you, I like talking to you. It was a very deep, intimate relationship.
Gypsy and Nicholas spend every night talking to each other. Then, one evening, Gypsy tells Nicholas she has a secret she needs to share with him.
She told me that her mom made her be in a wheelchair and she could walk.
Gypsy really started to trust him as when she started telling him the truth. And that's a big thing.
I told her that I knew that she could walk. I already knew that too. She's like, you've baffled me at times because I don't know how you know these things. And all I could really tell her is that we're soulmates. That's the only way I could describe it to her. I just knew we're soulmates.
And I think that made them feel so much closer because when you share a secret like that together, that bonds you together. And I think that's when it really became that intense love relationship.
And then one night she said to me, well, I do have a question that is very serious I need to ask you. And I'm like, okay, how bad do you really want to be with me? And that's when I told her, you know, I would do anything to be with you.
Coming up, as their online obsession escalates, Nicholas asks Gypsy to test the boundaries of their relationship.
This was very sexual. There was the talk of BDSM. Nicholas wanted to be her master. It was down and dirty.
And Gypsy reveals a second, more disturbing secret, setting in motion a plan that will eventually lead to murder.
She wanted him to know she was suffering.
I was livid. I was livid when she told me.
By the fall of 2012, The relationship between Nicholas Godejohn and Gypsy Blanchard had accelerated and intensified beyond anything the online lovers had ever known.
They took on another world, and it was obvious in how they communicated that they weren't living in reality. It was just the two of them in their own fairy tale land.
I was 100% serious that I would want to marry her.
Their conversations continued, and they escalated to become more sexual as the months went on.
The relationship between Nicholas and Gypsy online was pretty steamy. There was the talk of BDSM, that's what Nicholas was into. He wanted to be her master.
He had actually sent her a bill of sale that would essentially make Gypsy his property. They would exchange videos back and forth. Everything she did in these videos would be scripted by Mr. Godejohn.
They took on these different personalities, too, when they communicated with each other.
Nicholas claims his sexually dominant side is part of an alternate personality that he first became aware of as a teen.
Once I got to the age of 18, something clicked to me. It was almost like something was trying to tell me, I'm here. You've created me. I'm there. When that side clicks, I'm a completely different person. The sweet, innocent me that I usually wake up to every day is not there. It's a completely different person. And like I said, I do have other personalities too. I started exploring it with Gypsy. She's the one I hoped that would be brave enough to actually explore it with me.
She cooperated in developing alternate personalities herself. I don't think they were authentic. I think they were done just to satisfy his rather perverse needs.
Nicholas would explain what certain sides of him liked, and Gypsy would cater to it. She would create a new character based on the likes that he described. She would wear wigs and makeup and outfits to fully satisfy those parts of him that he had described.
Rose is probably my favorite personality. That one is basically the most mature form of Gypsy. Bella is another one that most people don't know about. That was basically the romantic part of her. That part of her got along very well with my good part of me. Ruby, now that one is what was considered her evil side. Which was basically in correspondence with mine. Then you had Kitty, which was basically like the little girl inside her. Kitty and my little boy part of me were really good friends. Then you had Candy. The best way to describe that part of her, which was basically her slutty part of her, that would probably be best in with my sexual part of me.
Gypsy and Nicholas's role-playing takes place exclusively at night, after Dee Dee goes to sleep.
Nicholas and Gypsy obviously had to keep this on the down low, away from Dee Dee, because Dee Dee would not have Gypsy having any kind of relationship with a boy. She didn't want her even having relationships with anyone. She wanted to keep Gypsy in a very tight, controlled environment. So, of course, they had to sneak around a lot.
Gypsy had no opportunity to establish boundaries with her mother. Her mother simply wouldn't allow it. That must have been very disturbing to have every utterance controlled by your mother, even when you are entering adulthood.
I never really knew when I was going to be able to talk to her because she had to keep our relationship secret from her mom. She had to because she knew that her mom would not allow it. And so every single time she'd either think that her mom is coming, she'd end up saying, I gotta log out, and right away log out.
Obviously, because she had become pretty good at hiding when she would communicate with Mr. Godeshan.
She had some close calls where I would not talk to her for a couple days. And there's even times where it was even worse than that. There'd be times when I wouldn't be able to talk to her for a couple weeks. Even though she's not on all the time when I want her to be on, I know that she's still thinking about me.
In the spring of 2014, a year and a half into their secret online relationship, Gypsy tells Nicholas that she's more desperate than ever to be with him and to be out from underneath her overbearing mother. But Gypsy has another secret that's keeping them from being together.
Nicholas already knew that Gypsy could walk, even though her mother kept her confined to a wheelchair. But she said, no, this is bigger than that.
She was like, I just can't stand arguing with my mom like I am. I'm like, give it time, I'll get better. Well, she said, instead of getting better, I'm getting worse. One night, she hasn't been on for pretty much the whole day online at all. And then all of a sudden, she pops up out of nowhere at 10 o'clock at nighttime. And when she's like, my mom hit me, I'm like, what are you talking about? And then she told me everything.
On June 15th, 2015, Nicholas Godeshan and Gypsy Blanchard are in custody at the Greene County Sheriff's Office.
I don't know how much she told you. I hope she told you everything that I do know also.
Okay. Nicholas has opened up about his role in the murder of Gypsy's mother, Dee Dee, and how it all started when Gypsy revealed the disturbing truth of what life with her mother had truly been like.
Gypsy Blanchard and Nicholas Godeshan had been dating for about a year, all behind her mother's back. And it was about this time that she told him she had a secret.
About a year and a half into our relationship, she's like, my mom hit me. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then she told me everything.
Gypsy told Nicholas that in addition to forcing her to pretend she can't walk, her mother routinely abused her, both emotionally and physically. Gypsy also told Nicholas the real reason they couldn't be together was because she was a prisoner in her own home.
She told me her mom abused her. Her mom made her shave all her hair off. All that stuff. She told me all that stuff.
It's very clear that Dee Dee's behavior made it very hard for Gypsy to know if there was anyone she could trust. I think that's why she reached out so desperately to Nicholas.
Gypsy told Nicholas that in 2011, she found out that her mother had been lying about how old she was.
She became at least aware that her age was different than what was being told to people, because she had ended up seeing some medical document or insurance document. She had found it in their house that had her true name and date of birth on there.
Her date of birth was 1991. Her mother had told her she was born in 1995. Gypsy never questioned that. Why would she? But when she realized that she was 19 and not 15, she decided to leave.
She did reveal to him that, she had tried to escape, as she said, run away one time.
Gypsy also claimed that not long after she discovered her real birth date, she met an older man at a sci-fi convention she'd attended with her mother.
She found him online and they talked for a few weeks in secret. And eventually they made the plan that she was going to come over to his house one night.
After her mom fell asleep, Gypsy did leave the house and took a cab over to the individual's house.
Unfortunately, somebody who knew her mom saw Gypsy at this other residence and actually let Claudine know that she was there.
Dee Dee then came over to the house and took Gypsy back. Dee Dee's explanation of that particular night was that this older man had, for lack of anything else, brainwashed her poor, naive little girl.
At that point, Claudine broke her computer because that was her really only means to this outside world, and then did end up chaining her to a bed and mistreating her pretty badly for several days.
She ended up beating her so badly to the point where she peed her pants, and I was livid. I was livid when she told me.
After that, Gypsy didn't try to run away again because she knew if she tried to run away, there would be repercussions. So she was fearful in trying to escape it again in the future.
She said, imagine being stuck as a 16-year-old, not being able to grow up, not being able to have friends, not being able to have boyfriends or anything like that. And being stuck at that age, not being able to pursue any of your dreams because your mother wants you to stay as a child.
She is sharing with Nicholas that she is completely being controlled by this woman. It pains him to know what she was going through. It's the first time I really think she laid it all out on the line to someone and said, this is what's really going on, and this is really wrong and terrible, and I'm living this terrible life under the control of this woman, and I don't know how to get out of it.
That's part of the reason why I started to grow the hatred towards her mom, because no child should ever have to endure that.
I think she wanted his sympathy. She wanted him to know just how much she was suffering and how much she needed him to save her, to be her savior.
As time went on, they grew more and more in love and more desperate to be with each other.
Nicholas tells police that in 2014, the couple grew so desperate that they began to see Dee Dee's death as the only way they could be together.
As early as about May of 2014, we get the first hint that they're thinking about murder.
Nicholas loved Gypsy. I think he would obviously do anything for her.
I think she used that as fuel to bring up my passion to want to get rid of her mom.
She made it clear that it would only work if Dee Dee was out of the picture, if Dee Dee was not there. I think that's where the gem started in Nick's brain, that I can do that for you. Let's get rid of her.
It didn't really matter what it took. I wanted to make sure her mom was not going to harm her anymore. I made sure of that.
Coming up, Gypsy and Nicholas begin making their deadly plans.
I told her that once we do this, we are not going to be able to go back.
And their first face-to-face encounter goes horribly awry.
At this point, her mom is basically rushing out of the theater. Apparently she was scared of me. I don't know why she was scared of me. I don't know why.
In the winter of 2014, Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Nicholas Godejohn were planning to spend the rest of their lives together.
They wanted to have a baby. They wanted to get married. They wanted to be together forever.
But their happiness depended on one thing: getting rid of Gypsy's mother.
And the roadblock in that relationship was Dee Dee.
It was Gypsy's idea that murder was the only option because she had tried running away before and it didn't work.
Gypsy did not believe that she could personally kill Claudine.
So she asked him to do it for her.
She had me so convinced that was the only way.
There were thoughts between Nicholas and Gypsy that maybe we don't have to go to the extreme. Maybe we can be together and not go all the way to murder.
One of the ideas they had was for Nicholas to get Gypsy pregnant, so Nicholas would be forced to be in her life because he'd be the father of her child, and Dee Dee would have to accept him. For whatever reason, they scratched that idea off the table.
One of the plans was, let's try and stage this cute meet where you'll meet my mom and she'll love you, and then we'll let her know that we're becoming boyfriend-girlfriend and she'll be behind it and everything will be great and we'll have her support.
Gypsy loved everything Disney, and so they decided that the perfect place to meet would be at the theater when the live-action Cinderella movie came out.
The plan was that Mr. Godejohn would show up at the movie, appear to be a stranger, just happen to essentially run into Gypsy and Claudine, and the idea was Claudine would get to know him that way, get to like him, and then ultimately approve of their relationship.
She sent Nicholas money, bought him a bus ticket, so he could come down to Missouri to see her.
We ended up meeting on the 12th of March, 2015. Very first time I got to see her, her mom was paying for the tickets, and while she was paying for the tickets, Gypsy snuck a wave at me, and I waved back at her. I felt like, hey, she's here, she's here. It felt great. Gypsy is dressed in basically a Cinderella outfit with a yellow wig on.
Nicholas walked right up to Dee Dee while she was talking to a friend and introduced himself.
And I said, did I hear that right? Your name is Dee Dee? And she's like, yeah, my name is Dee Dee. And this is my daughter, Gypsy. And I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. I had a little smirk on my face, like, I know you, but she doesn't know I know you. I mean, I was playing it pretty well.
He sat next to Gypsy, again, them two pretending that they didn't know each other.
Gypsy's mother realizes that this young man's there to be next to Gypsy and is not happy about that.
Here's this guy who's showing up to a Disney movie by himself. I think she was a little creeped out by them.
Apparently, Dee Dee got up and moved down a few rows and told Gypsy to follow her. But Gypsy stayed seated where she was.
Her mom was so zoned into the movie that she didn't pay attention. Every single time there was a kissing moment in the actual movie, we'd end up kissing at the very same time. Not only that, we were also hiding our hands, holding each other's hands together too. We were hiding that very well too. There's a picture that we've gotten to take that it looks like we were truly happy together. And definitely one of the highlights of my life. But halfway through the movie, me and her already had this planned out to where she wanted to give me her virginity, so she ended up sneaking out. She led me right into the men's bathroom. I ended up taking her virginity. I'll admit that I was in a state of bliss. I've never experienced that before. But really, really, it's one of those feelings right now I wish I could have back. And then just as her mom was coming out of the theater to wonder where she was, perfect timing. I ended up being right in the concession stand to make it look like I was just trying to get something from maybe popcorn or something like that. At this point, her mom is basically rushing out of the theater, and then she's like, oh, I gotta catch up with my mom and calm her down. I'm like, okay, talk to you later. Just before I ended up having to go to get a taxi, I ended up getting a quick peck on the lips from her before she left.
Nicholas believed their staged meetup had gone according to plan, but he soon learned that wasn't the case.
Ultimately, Mr. Godejohn leaves and finds out from Gypsy that her mom ended up not actually liking him or thought he was weird.
Apparently she was scared of me, and I don't know why she was scared of me. I don't know why.
I think that Gypsy knew then that any hope of convincing her mom that she could make her own decisions, have her own life, have her own friends, have her own relationships, anything, was not going to happen.
Dee Dee was not an acceptance of any relationship that Gypsy would have. So Dee Dee was very protective not to let anybody in. So the plan for them to be together and that Dee Dee would accept him did not happen at that point.
I don't think that was ever going to happen, just because it couldn't, because of what Dee Dee needed from Gypsy to keep this con going. So I don't know why they thought that was going to work.
With their plan of failure, Gypsy and Nicholas agreed they had only one choice left.
We really realized that we had to be together. We just had to. There's no other option. We had to.
After the meeting at the theater went so terribly wrong, that's when they knew they were going to have to kill her.
And that's when I told her, you know, I would do anything to be with you.
How should we kill her? Then became the next step.
In May of 2015, Gypsy Blanchard and Nicholas Godejohn decided murdering her mother Dee Dee was their only option if they wanted to be together.
Gypsy Blanchard told Nicholas Godejohn that she would never be able to follow through with killing her mother. And if they were ever going to be together, she needed him to do it.
But originally, I didn't even want to do that. I wanted to grab her and run. If I had to, I'll admit it, if I had to blackmail her mom to keep her away from her, I would have.
I think Nicholas was also hesitant. I don't think he necessarily wanted to go through with it. I think he tried to maybe talk Gypsy out of it a few times and it didn't work. So once he realized it wasn't going to work, he got on board with it.
And that's when I told her, you know, I would do anything to be with you. So they're like, okay, if you're really serious about this, then this is something to not joke around about. You have to understand that once we do this, we are not going to be able to go back. This is something to not turn back from. And she's like, I understand that. A lot of different methods we went through, a lot of them. Making it look like her mom committed suicide, which too much work is what she ended up thinking that was. Then ended up going from there to like poisoning. For the poisoning thing, we really didn't know how to get in hands on any poison. So once she brought up a firearm, I'm like, that makes too much noise. You don't want to alert anyone around you.
Nicholas determined stabbing would be the best way to kill Dee Dee because she would bleed out faster, and he thought it would be just a quick, easy death for her.
I told her that you don't want to alert your neighbors or anything else like that. So that might be the way we have to go about it. So really, is in my eyes, the way I see it as basically it was a conjoined decision. It was really both of our decision, these and really.
It took some time for them to plan everything. They had to make sure everything was in place for the murder to happen and then to get away as quickly as possible.
Gypsy pays for his bus ticket to get him down from Wisconsin.
She had sent him money. She would be, I think, pretty good at taking money from her mom, and she ended up mailing that to Mr. Godejohn.
There was definitely more excitement, I think, building in their communication as they knew the day was getting closer to Dee Dee being murdered. Gypsy was emphasizing that she was ready, that she was basically looking forward to Nicholas coming and carrying out the crime. Nicholas was very receptive to that. He was just as excited and ready.
She said, as long as you're going to be together, that's all that matters to me. One of the other things that she said that convinced her that it was the right thing to do, she said, I love you more than I love my mom. I'm like, really? I'm not joking about that. I really mean it. I said to her, I feel honored that I love you in the very depths of my heart, too. You know, I want to do anything for you if I can.
On June 8th, 2015, Nicholas Godejohn boarded a bus in Waukesha, Wisconsin to head for Springfield, Missouri.
It was a 17-hour bus ride. Getting to see Gypsy was on my mind the entire time. I was driven to be with her. Regardless of what happened, I was going to be with her. That's what was in my mind. That's what I made my mind up as, regardless of how it was going to have to happen.
About 6 a.m. on June 9th is when Mr. Godejohn gets to Springfield.
He gets into town and he gets his motel room.
For the most part, he spends that day in his motel room.
Me and her were talking to each other the entire time.
They not seamlessly, rather awkwardly transition from talking about all of the preparation for murder to having sex and what kind of sex they're going to have and what Gypsy will wear.
The emotions were building, and it was definitely evident in their text messages to each other.
I think she was captive in a real sense. Her individuality was stifled and she was under the thumb of her mother. She viewed her escape as requiring the most extreme behavior possible, which was murder.
As we start getting to the evening of June 9th, as it's getting closer, again, this excitement is coming out in their conversations.
She would play on this notion that she really didn't believe I would do it. She wouldn't believe I would do it. She's like, "You're not backing out on me now, are you?"
In June of 2015, Nicholas Godejohn traveled to the home of Gypsy and Dee Dee Blanchard with the intent of murdering Dee Dee in her sleep. It was Nicholas and Gypsy's last desperate resort to be together after their other plans had failed.
They had worked it out between each other. She was going to leave the door open. She was going to have the knife for him. And then it was up to him to do the ultimate deed.
She repeatedly thanks him for doing what needs to be done. At one point she phrases it, "Thank you for doing the worst for the best of us." She does make mention in her text messages when she is alerting Mr. Godejohn that Claudine's taken her sleeping pill, she should be asleep soon.
She's like, "I said goodnight to my mom. I'm at peace now. I got to say my last I love you to her and everything else. I'm ready for this. I'm 100% in," is what she told me.
After that, he took a cab from the Days Inn to the address on Volunteer Way. At one point, Mr. Godejohn asks whether or not Claudine is a light or a heavy sleeper.
She was excited about it, but at the same time, I could tell from the way that she was talking to me that she was afraid that this wasn't going to go as well as it should. She would play on this notion that she really didn't believe I would do it. She's like, "You're not backing out on me now, are you?" I'm like, "No."
About 2:07 a.m., he texts Gypsy, "I'm here."
So she's like, "Okay, come out to the door, I'll let you in." And she said, "Make sure you have your latex gloves on at the time." Well, that's what I did. I had to have them on. The very second that she let me in the door, I put my very first foot down. I had one of those moments you might only have once in your lifetime. It was an angel and a devil. First, the angel spoke. It actually said, his very actual words was, "Take her and run." And then you had the other part of me, that damn devil. What it ended up telling me was, "This bitch is dead." That's all it said, "This bitch is dead." I got so darn enraged that the other side of me clicked. Unfortunately, that part of me wanted to come out for a very long time, and the very first opportunity it got, I didn't waste any time trying to make an example out of somebody, unfortunately. That dark shadow part of me that really is triggered by anger. Once that level of anger clicks, I see red. I see red. So I ended up whispering to Gypsy, get in the bathroom because I just want to get this over with. From that point forward, there's no turning back. I just, in midair, just went on top of her and instantaneously woke her up.
Claudine actually woke up and could tell that this strange person was on top of her and was actually asking who he was.
She ended up asking me, "Who are you?" "I'm your effing nightmare." While she was struggling, that other part of me, he ended up saying, "You'll be dead before I let you get between me and Ruby." I lost all control. I had no control of my body. None.
He stabbed her 17 times in the back, almost decapitated her. Gypsy was in the bathroom hiding as her mother was being stabbed. She heard her mother screaming and even calling her name, and Gypsy felt bad. She just stayed hidden in the bathroom the entire time and didn't go to her mother's rescue.
After her mom passed away, I stayed at the doorway like a good 5 minutes to make sure her mom was gone. Because I didn't want her somehow getting up and then going after her daughter or trying to go after me or something. I just wanted to make sure. After that, I ended up going to the bathroom door. We had a code that we came up with. This way she would know it's me rather than her mom. I ended up having a wound on my finger that I was bleeding all over the house. So she had to clean that up.
He actually had asked that Gypsy clean naked because that was a turn on to him.
After that happened, we ended up having sex in Gypsy's bedroom.
After the crime was committed and they did what they thought they needed to do to clean up the scene, they went back to the hotel where Nicholas had been staying.
They were excited after they committed the murder. The mission was accomplished and it was a time for celebration so that they could be together.
I'm filming it.
There's this video. It's Nicholas naked in the bed and she's giggling.
He's eating a brownie. But later he will be eating me.
It's just so laissez-faire. It's so removed from 2-3 hours ago. I killed your mom. 2-3 hours ago, I had you kill my mom. Oh, let's giggle and have sex and make videos.
No sense of remorse, no sense of regret, no sense of sadness.
I was with her in the hotel 2 days, both blissful.
They actually then were scheduled to get back on a Greyhound bus to Wisconsin that next day.
Gypsy had by this point ditched the wheelchair.
The surveillance from the Greyhound bus station shows them waiting in line and then ultimately finally getting on that bus to go back to Wisconsin.
Gypsy liked where I lived at the time, Big Bend. She liked it there. She thought it was really peaceful. She really did. I was by her side whenever me and her were doing walking. The only thing that she had trouble with was walking long distances. She didn't have to build up on leg strength to walk longer distances. We had such peaceful weather. I had a lot of conversations. I just got to hold her a lot. I got to do a lot of things that I wanted to do.
I don't think they were worried or concerned they were going to get caught. I think they were still just very excited and giddy that they were together and Gypsy was free from the torture and the abuse and she was a free woman. And I believe they lived that way until they ultimately were caught.
We actually said we would never talk about this ever again. We would never utter this to another soul.
But on June 14th, Gypsy made a fateful decision and logged into the Facebook account she once shared with her mother.
At some point after the homicide, Gypsy had posted on Facebook, "The bitch is dead."
She believed that making that Facebook post was sensational enough that it would get people to act and to eventually find her mom.
I don't think Nicholas knew that Gypsy was going to be making the Facebook post, but by her making that Facebook post, she definitely alerted authorities to where she was.
On the morning of June 15th, 2015, Nicholas and Gypsy are asleep in his bed when they're startled awake by an alarming sound.
Morning I will never forget. I remember me and her being spooked out of a dead sleep with police saying, Nicholas Godejohn, we know you're up there. Please come out with your hands up.
Suddenly, the home where Nicholas and Gypsy are staying is surrounded by SWAT team officers.
She ended up going into the freaking closet. I just followed her. And she started crying, so I tried to comfort her. And I told her, I don't care if I gotta freaking protect you with my dead body. I'm not gonna let them take you. And that's when she realized she didn't want that to happen. And she was actually scared of that. I think that's the reason why she started to turn herself in first.
They do have this final moment where they're in Mr. Godejohn's closet, and he is reiterating to her to make sure to stick to the story that they had come up with.
She ended up saying, I love and adore you. It's what you used to always say to each other all the time. I said, I love and adore you too. Just before she was about to go down there, I got that last kiss. That's when she turned herself in. And then I came down slowly, and they arrested me.
Coming up, with Nicholas and Gypsy in custody, stories start to shift and the finger-pointing begins.
Gypsy pretended she didn't even know her mother was dead.
And the question rises, did Gypsy ever truly love Nicholas? Or did she simply want to be done with her mother's abuse and manipulation forever?
I think Gypsy learned at the feet of the master.
I don't know why I didn't see this coming.
On June 15th, 2015, Waukesha County Sheriff's deputies detained Gypsy Blanchard and Nicholas Godejohn in Big Bend, Wisconsin.
They had me in a cell by myself. But what ended up happening was they were trying to take me back to another one. I ended up walking right past her. And she just starts going wild. She basically says, baby, I'm sorry. I love you. Please don't forget about me. Please. I'm sorry. And I'm like, all I did was stop and look at her. And one of the officers pushed me and we keep on walking.
We served the search warrant the next day to actually search the residence for evidence after Gypsy and Nicholas were arrested. In Nicholas's bedroom is where the majority of the evidence was found.
They find a cache of cash, thousands of dollars that probably was stolen from Dee Dee from the home. The murder weapon is there with blood still on it. They had shipped it from Springfield to Wisconsin to his home.
Before leaving Springfield for Wisconsin, Gypsy was worried that if they took the knife with them on the bus, they would get discovered. So they did go to a post office and mailed both the knife and the gloves.
Nicholas had told us ahead of time where the knife would be. And sure enough, that's where we found the knife, in his closet, in the package, not opened yet.
They did not clean up their tracks very well at all.
When Gypsy and Nicholas were taken into custody, they were not hesitant about speaking about their actions. Detectives that were in that interview were quite surprised that she was getting around by herself, walking, and did not seem to be in as desperate of a health state as Greene County thought she may be.
Not only was she okay, but it appeared pretty clearly that she was there willingly with Mr. Godejohn as his girlfriend.
How did you get from Missouri to here?
Not about a week ago. It all started when I met my boyfriend Nick.
I don't know how much she told you. I hope she told you everything that I do know also.
Okay.
Apparently from what she told me, her mom kicked her out of her house.
Okay.
So she texted me to pick her up.
This first story he gave was that, they had met and gotten in a relationship, and that his understanding is that Gypsy had been kicked out of her house, so he was going to take the Greyhound bus down to Springfield to pick her up, bring her back to Wisconsin to live with him, basically.
I was worried sick about her when I got there, to where I wanted to find her as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because I knew she was wandering the streets.
Nicholas was very reluctant at first to admit his involvement. The investigator kept pressing him.
Nick, I want you to do the honorable thing, okay? For Gypsy.
About 20 minutes or so into the actual interview, he admitted to murdering Claudine.
And then the truth is, okay, I'll admit it. I did actually stab her mom. I will admit it.
I know. Okay.
The only reason I did it is because I did it for me and her. That's the real reason I did it. I would have never did it if it was not for me and her.
Okay.
The interview from Nicholas Godejohn gave quite a bit of information that wasn't correct with what Gypsy was stating.
And I want you to understand that you need to be honest with me. And if you're involved in anything that I'm about ready to tell you, then you need to tell me. Okay?
Gypsy pretended she didn't even know her mother was dead.
Your mom's dead. Okay? Now, what I want to ask you is your mom's passed away. Okay? She's deceased. All right? Now, what I want to ask you, did you have involvement in this? Okay?
Gypsy still try a little bit longer to say, no, I don't know. I have no idea what happened to her. And he really just says, no, you know.
I would never hurt my mom.
Okay, sweetheart, do you really want to dig yourself? You're digging yourself deeper. Okay?
No, seriously, I would never hurt her.
Listen to me, okay? I don't play around with that, okay? I'm not going to play around with this.
That's when she starts finally breaking down.
I just love my mom.
I know you do. I know you, sweetheart, I know you love your mom.
Look, Nick and my mom didn't get along very good.
Okay.
But that's all I know.
Okay. So why do you think Nick did this?
I didn't say he did. I know that he loves me and he would do anything for me and to be with me.
Okay, I'm asking you direct and straight.
Mm-hmm.
Did you kill your mom?
No, sir.
Did you have knowledge that Nicholas was going to kill your mom before he did it?
No, sir.
Did Gypsy know that you were going to kill her mother?
Honestly, she asked me to.
Do you think that if Gypsy hadn't asked you to kill her mom, you'd ever killed her mom?
I know I wouldn't have done
Okay. You just did it because you loved Gypsy and Gypsy asked you to do it.
Yes.
When detectives confront Gypsy with Nicholas's statement, she continues to profess her innocence. But detectives quickly find evidence to the contrary.
Things were progressing very quickly, all at the same time in Springfield, Missouri. We were unveiling Facebook communication back and forth between Gypsy and Nicholas Godejohn that painted a much different story.
For police, they had so much evidence, right almost from the get-go.
This plan was very clear that Gypsy made the suggestion, assisted. She talked Nicholas Godejohn into carrying the plan out.
Fascinating new details in a Springfield murder case. Gypsy Blanchard and her boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, are now jailed in Wisconsin on first-degree murder.
People were obviously bewildered by what was going on before their eyes. Gypsy Blanchard supposedly suffered from cancer and multiple health issues, who'd been in a wheelchair, and suddenly she walks into a Waukesha County courthouse handcuffed as the suspect in her mother's murder.
You start realizing the depths of this con.
Gypsy didn't know that she wasn't actually sick. She knew she didn't need the wheelchair, but she actually thought she had cancer. She had all of these different diseases. And it wasn't until after she was arrested that she learned that she was actually healthy.
We learned that Dee Dee Blanchard had for years cajoled and pushed on doctors to say that she had all sorts of medical conditions that she didn't have.
Munchausen by proxy refers to a very important form of child abuse. The Munchausen by proxy perpetrator is willing to view their child as an object, to be manipulated rather than a child to be loved. And so they feign, exaggerate, or actually induce illness in their child in order to get some sort of emotional gratification. They don't do it primarily to get money, though that may happen as a result of having a sick child. They do it primarily because they like the attention that they're getting. The abuse in the Blanchard case is as potent and disturbing as any I've ever seen. Dee Dee and Gypsy were victims of Hurricane Katrina. Dee Dee claimed that all of the medical records for Gypsy were destroyed, and that would be ideal for someone who wants to suppress those records and not have them seen by future doctors.
Gypsy led a horrible life. Gypsy was confined to a wheelchair, fed medications, poked, prodded. I will never say that Gypsy is not a victim.
No woman should ever, no child for that matter, should ever have to be raised that way. No one ever should ever have to be raised that way. So my heart goes out to her for that.
The question then becomes, did Gypsy really love Nicholas? Or was he just a pawn that she manipulated in order to do what she wanted and needed?
He felt like he was saving her. And that was her. I mean, I can't believe they went that route. If Nick would have came to me and I would, it would have ended totally different. But she must have had a hold on him.
It's not crazy to think that Gypsy learned from her mother how to manipulate people, because Dee Dee had been doing it her entire life.
I think Gypsy learned at the feet of the master. She learned that people can be manipulated, and she found an individual who was in love with her and willing to do anything she said. Somebody who also was willing to do what it would take to free Gypsy from the stranglehold her mother had on her. And Nicholas was more than willing.
Originally, in the beginning, I did feel that she was not taking responsibility for her actions. But at the same time, due to the way I know she was raised, I can't blame her. I can't.
How is justice delivered in a case like this, when the lines between victim and perpetrator are so blurred? Who's the real villain here?
I somehow just knew deep within my heart, some way me and her would end up being together in the end.
On June 16, 2015, Nicholas Godejohn and Gypsy Rose Blanchard are indicted for the murder of Gypsy's mother, Dee Dee.
Startling new developments in an already bizarre murder case in Springfield.
Gypsy Blanchard, now charged with killing her mother.
My wife and I went and saw Gypsy in Greene County Jail because I needed some answers. And the biggest one was, why did you not say anything to anybody? All you had to do was stand up one time in public, and all this would have been different. And the only thing she could say was, the only reason I didn't say anything is because I didn't want Mom to go to jail. To which my response was, well, this is a little bit more permanent than that. And she just kind of hung her head and said, I understand.
On July 5th, 2016, the Greene County District Attorney's Office holds a surprise hearing in the case of Gypsy Blanchard.
24-year-old Gypsy Blanchard stood in the courtroom looking scared and nervous as she admitted to planning and killing her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard.
Gypsy was at the center of an international story that drew headlines around the world. I think most people were stunned to find out that a murder plot was drawing this kind of national attention.
Dee Dee obviously was the main victim of a murder, but there was a lot of sympathy for Gypsy, not for the act, not for what she did, but for what led her to that.
Ultimately, prosecutors offered Gypsy Blanchard a plea deal, and she took it.
How did you plead to the Class A felony of murder in the second degree?
Gypsy will spend 10 years in jail. She will only get the possibility of probation if she serves 8 years of her sentence.
When you look at her situation, it really probably is the worst case of child abuse that you'll ever see. And so for her, it was such a mitigating factor that we did feel that although we can't condone it and we don't give a free pass, we certainly give a lot of consideration because she really did, suffer pretty horrifically, and that was really her life up until that point.
The question now becomes, what happens to Nicholas?
In November 2018, Nicholas Godejohn's trial begins in Greene County, Missouri.
Coming into the trial, there was a bit of a misconception that due to the very severe abuse of Gypsy that came out, that was actually why Nicholas Godejohn murdered Claudine.
There was a ton of evidence against both Nicholas and Gypsy. There were computer searches, text messages, Facebook messages.
That was a big part, I think, of what I hope dispelled this knight in shining armor myth about Mr. Godejohn, is that it wasn't a reluctant, I guess I'll just do what has to be done to save you, that he really got into the role for him, that he got to sort of play this assassin.
He's finalizing the plan in his head, thinking about it in the day and hours before he goes to kill Dee Dee. Not only that, he was looking forward to it and excited about it.
The defense primarily was that because of Mr. Godejohn's autism, that he simply did not have the ability to deliberate.
Gypsy manipulated Nick, a low-functioning person with autism. And then Gypsy pressures Nick into committing a homicide against her mother.
A secondary element of their defense is probably also was to make this a lot about Gypsy and the fact that this was her idea to get some of that attention away from Mr. Godejohn and his actions.
Lying, conning people, manipulating people, that's all she had known. And so that was really their only recourse in the defense of Nicholas, to say, yes, he did stab Dee Dee, yes, he did kill her, but this was all Gypsy's idea, and she manipulated him into doing this. She's the evil genius behind this.
On November 15th, 2018, Nicholas's defense attorney calls Gypsy Blanchard to the stand.
When Gypsy walked in to testify, the one thing a lot of people wanted to know was, how is Nick going to react?
It's the first time she and Nicholas have been in the same room since they were arrested 3 years earlier.
He stared at her hungrily, like he wanted to drink her in. He couldn't get enough of her. From the moment she walked in, his eyes tracked her all the way until she went to sit down to give her testimony.
She could tell from my eye contact with her that I'm like, don't you dare lie on the stand. Don't you dare lie on the stand.
Miss Blanche, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to...
When Gypsy testified in Nicholas's trial, she was pretty forthright.
Whose idea was it to kill your mother?
Mine.
Why did you want to kill your mother?
Because I wanted to be free of her hold on me.
Did you and Nick ever talk about this?
Yes,
Who initially brought up killing your mother?
I did.
She did admit it was her original idea, and she asked him to do it for her. She provided the weapon and did the planning with him. So she was pretty forthright about that.
Who talked you into killing your mother?
I did. I talked him into it.
Even though she was a witness for the defense, ultimately her testimony served better for the prosecution because she said that Nicholas was 100% willing to do anything she wanted.
State of Missouri versus Nicholas Godejohn. The jury has announced that they have reached a verdict. As to count one, we, the jury, find the defendant, Nicholas Godejohn, guilty of murder in the first degree.
How that verdict and everything happened, how it came down, was influenced by Satan himself. I really do believe that. I believe that he was corrupting the actual whole thing. I seen too much of it. I seen too much signs that he was around.
At sentencing, he told the judge that all he ever wanted was to be loved. All he wanted was a woman's love. And that's why he committed the murder, because he was blindly in love with Gypsy. And he asked the judge to show him any kind of mercy.
We assess and declare the punishment for murder in the first degree at imprisonment or life without the possibility of probation or parole.
I wasn't surprised. Like I said, when I had it happen, I mean, there was a shock at first, but then I got over the shock. It wasn't like being shell-shocked where it would last a long time. It didn't happen that way.
Despite his life sentence, Nicholas remains optimistic about his chances for an appeal.
Even when I know that the verdict is going to turn out to be that, I'm not afraid of it because I know that there's something better waiting for me. I know there's a better verdict waiting for me.
Nicholas Godejohn is a young man who now is spending the rest of his life behind bars. And the question is, what more could have been done for this young man prior to this happening?
I should have been more aware of how they were interacting and how far it was progressing and what they wanted.
The stars aligned somehow that these two individuals found each other and ultimately did commit this murder that obviously captured the nation's attention.
Though he will likely spend the rest of his life behind bars, Nicholas says he has no regrets about freeing Gypsy from her mother's abuse and claims he still loves Gypsy with all his heart. Despite the fact that Gypsy says she's moved on from their relationship, and in 2019, she announced her engagement to a new man.
I feel that she could still be the one. Somehow I just knew deep within my heart, some way me and her will end up being together in the end. I don't know how I knew that, but it's just something that is unexplainable. I feel that she's still with me.
Hi, honey.
I would have done it again. I really would have. I would have done it again. I might have done it differently, but I would have done it again. I just couldn't see her. I couldn't see her suffer anymore.